In this video, we're going to look at how to fill out the learner detail form. This form has to be filled out by anybody who is attending courses with the ETB. The details which are required to be filled in include personal details such as your name, address, PPS number, your social welfare status, your educational history, your economic status, some medical details, and further details about your background. Some of these questions have to be filled out and some of them are optional. Page 1. This is where you fill in the course title. So for example, if you're doing a computer course, you write it in here. This section asks for PLSS reference number. You don't have to fill that out. We will fill that out later. Section 1. Your name, and importantly, your PPS number. Your address goes here, and your air code if you know it. If you don't worry about it. Your phone number goes in here, and your email if you have one. Next, gender. Tick the box that applies to you, and your date of birth. Your nationality, so if you're Irish, write it in here, and your country of birth, write it in here. Next, you're asked for an emergency contact, the name of someone to contact and their phone number if we need to contact somebody in an emergency. At the bottom of the page you indicate whether you are under 18 or over 18. If you're over 18, tick no. If you tick yes, you have to provide the name and the phone number of a parent or guardian. Section 2, page 2. This page covers social welfare payments. So if you're getting paid by the dole, you fill out this page. Do you have a medical card? So be yes or no, whichever applies to you. If you have a medical card, you write the number here and the expiry date here. You will find these on the card itself. Next, which of the following applies to you? In receipt of a welfare payment, check here. Signing for credits, check here. If you're a dependent, if you depend on somebody who is receiving social welfare or a medical card, check this box. If it is none of these, check this box. Next one is how long have you received a welfare payment? If less than a year, give the number of weeks here. If a year or more, indicate the number of years here. If you're a dependent of someone getting a social welfare payment, indicate whether it is a partner or spouse or other. Section 2.1. Complete this section if you receive a welfare payment. So here you indicate the type of payment that you are receiving. So you only fill out this section if you're getting a welfare payment. So for example, if you get a disability benefit or allowance, check this box. Do you receive any other welfare payments? Choose yes or no. If it is yes, write it in here. Section 2.2. It is for anybody outside the European Economic Area. If you are from outside of Europe, you will have a Garda National Immigration Bureau GNIB card. Indicate whether you hold this card or not, and indicate the expiry date on the card if you do have it. If you're from outside of Europe and you have a labour market permission letter, indicate if you do or do not have that by clicking yes or no here. Section 3. This section is about your educational history. What they're looking for in this section is the highest level of education you have gone to so far. So for example, if you have gone as far as junior cert, you choose this box here. You enter the year that you did your junior cert, and you enter in the title, which would be junior cert. If outside Ireland, indicate the country where you went to school. So for example, United Kingdom. So this section is to fill in the highest level of education you've done so far. The next section on page 3 is, have you gained any qualifications or credits through the formal recognition of prior learning? Choose yes or no here. Have you taken part in non-formal learning? So that's learning outside of the classroom in the last 4 weeks. Indicate yes or no. The next section is about support. If you need support with English language, click here. Numbers, here. Literacy, reading, writing and spelling. If you need support there, check this box. Computers, check this box. If you don't need support with any of these, choose none of the above. If you need any supports when attending a course, any other supports when attending a course, write them in here at the bottom of the page. Section 4, your economic status. So this is whether you're working or not working. So here you indicate whether you're unemployed or employed part-time, whether you're engaged in home duties or inactive for other reasons, whether you're employed full-time, whether you're a student or a trainee or retired. You put a tick in the appropriate box. When did this status begin? If less than a year, write the date and the year, and if it's more than a year, indicate how many years. Section 4.1, your last or current job. What is your job title? So for example, if you're a carpenter, you'll write it in there. How long? The number of years and the number of months you've worked in that job. Is it full-time or is it part-time? Are you an employee? Do you work for someone as an employee? Or are you taking part in a government scheme, for example, a FOSS scheme? Are you self-employed? That means you work for yourself. Or is it something else, other? So if you work for yourself, check this box. What type of contract do you have? Is it permanent? So that means, are you always in this job? Is it temporary? Is it just for a short time? Are you employed through an agency? Is it for a fixed term? So a fixed term is from one date to another date. Is it an apprenticeship? Or do you not have a contract? No contract. Check this box. Further details. Section 5, page 5. It's important to point out here that these questions are optional, and for any of them you can tick this box saying that you don't want to answer these questions. This one is on ethical and cultural background. The next question is also optional, and again, if you don't want to answer it, check this box here. It's about your status. If you're a parent in a one-parent house, a dependent in a one-parent household, a parent in a jobless household, a dependent in a jobless household, part of a jobless household with no dependents, or none of the above. Again, this is optional. The next one is about your status. This is also optional, and if you don't want to answer it, check this box. The next section, it's section 5.1, long-lasting conditions. Again, this is optional, and if you don't want to answer questions about your medical history, click on this box. Here, if you're a carer for a friend or a family member, you answer here. This is also optional, and if you don't want to answer this, you can tick this box. Section 5.2, if you're outside the European Economic Area. Again, these questions are optional and you can choose not to answer them. Finally, you sign on page 10, sign the form. And enter the date. And that's it. You return the form to Tipperary Education and Training Board, Adult Learning Centre, Dillon Street, Clonmel, County Tipperary. If you have any questions about any of the sections on the form, ring this number and we can talk you through filling out the form.